So do you have achy, sore muscles and you need relief ASAP without all the harsh chemicals that come in most muscle rubs? Well, today I'm going to show you how to make a DIY Icy Hot without all the nasty chemicals added onto it, but with all the relief. Hello, my name is Amanda and I'm from the Wild Herbal, and we are going to make a salve. So in order to make the salve, you're going to need a cayenne infused oil. You're going to need some menthol crystals, some beeswax, and some ginger essential oil, and also some jars to store your salve in. In order to make the salve, the first thing that you need to know how to do though is make an infused oil. So for this recipe, we are using a cayenne infused oil. So you can use fresh cayenne peppers or a powder. I always end up using a powder because I can never find dried whole cayenne peppers. It would be a lot easier if you just had dry whole peppers because they're a little bit easier to strain. So if you do not know how to make an infused oil, you can click this video up here, or I'll also leave it in the description, that shows you how to make an infused oil the long process, which will take 2 weeks. Or if you just want to make a quick version, you want to get it done today, you can try this 3-hour version in this other video, or also in the description, and it will show you how to make a quick infused oil. But I already have the infused oil done. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my infused oil. I want to make a cup of salve, so I'm going to measure out 8 ounces. Maybe not. I have about 6 ounces of oil left in here. We use this salve a lot in our house, mainly for my husband and also other family members for their muscles when they're working hard. So I'm gonna take this 6 ounces and I'm going to pour it into this jar. I was baking another salve in this jar a little bit earlier. That's why it has a bunch of crazy stuff in there. It's just oil and beeswax, which we're gonna put more oil and beeswax in. So it's okay. So I have my infused oil that I measured out in this jar. And then I already measured out 2 ounces of grated beeswax, which we're gonna use this in a minute. But the thing, so the cayenne heat ointment that we're using makes it hot. So now in order to get that icy effect, we're going to use a really cool ingredient called menthol crystals. And if you watch this other video that I made last week, you will see how we also use menthol crystals in the DIY Vicks to make a really nice chest rub that helps you to breathe when you're congested. So because this is a little bit more, we're gonna add about 1 ounce of menthol crystals. I'm gonna turn my scale on and I'm gonna press tade so I have my jar measurements. And we are going to measure out 1 ounce of these. I buy these menthol crystals from Mountain Rose, which I buy pretty much all of my herbs from there. Unless I can't find something, then I'll find another company to choose from. But they're definitely they're definitely the place of choice because they have organic, non-irritated herbs, or also wild crafted herbs. And personally, I like to store this in the freezer. I don't know if you necessarily need to store menthol crystals in the freezer, but I know that when I do store them in the freezer, they last for a long time. So I always store them in the freezer just to keep them fresher for when I need them, because I don't use them very frequently. It is only in a couple of my salves that I use menthol crystals. So once I have this measured out and I have my infused oil and my beeswax, we're gonna go ahead and take this to the stove and make our salve. So I have a pot of hot water on my stove and I'm gonna turn it on 6. I'm going to add a funnel on top so that I don't make a mess. And we are going to add in our beeswax. The funnel just helps the beeswax to go into the jar and not into my water and onto my pan, because beeswax can be a pain to get off. So once I put all of my beeswax in there, you'll see that it's nice, like the really pretty red and yellow. When that is all melted, we will go on to our next step. So this will take about 15 minutes. Okay, so I took my oil off of the stove and all of my beeswax is melted. I'm gonna go ahead and add in my menthol crystals. So once my menthol crystals are dissolved, and my oil is cool to the touch, I can go ahead and add in my ginger essential oil, which I am going to do about 30 drops. I will mix my essential oils in. Now I'm going to pour it into my amber glass jar that I have here, as well as a tin. I'm going to fill up the tin first. So I'm going to go ahead and let these sit probably for about an hour until they cool off a little bit, and then I can put their lids on. While that's cooling off, I'm going to create a label. I'm just going to put the name and the date. I have a little blue book that I use to put all of my recipes in, so I know exactly what is in this salve. But if you don't have that, you could also add exactly what ingredients that you use on the label and put it on there on the jar so that you know. Or you can just keep a simple herbal book with all of your recipes so that if you do have someone with sensitive skin tries it and it's too much for them, you can go back to your recipe and you can tweak it and you can say, okay, I need to add less of this, but you know exactly what you did, and you can write all of your tweaks and corrections so you have them all in one place. So it is definitely invaluable if you are going to keep and pursue herbalism. It is something that I really enjoy, being able to look back on all the corrections that I made throughout time too. So that is how you make a DIY Icy Hot. I'm curious if you guys actually try it out and how you like it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Bye, friends.